Thanks to everyone, and welcome, if you can believe it, to week 6. We are already up to the 6th week of the course, nearing our halfway point in just a couple of weeks here. Um, this week, the main topic is going to be the second of our kind of series of weeks on various production aspects of instructional materials. Last week, the focus was on graphics and on graphic design and layout and the Gestalt principles. This week, the topic is going to be audio, and in particular, going to be using a program called Audacity as a tool to help improve the quality of the recordings that you may need to make. It doesn't really require any specialized hardware, but with general knowledge of some basic audio principles and audio production principles, you can actually get pretty darn good results out of the tools that you have available to you already, whatever those might be. So that's going to be the main focus of this week, is working through some audio projects. So in terms of the activities for this week, start off with an article here that's just an overview of audio. Some of you may have read this article in the past. You can kind of review it. If not, feel free to take a look through it, but it's basically just talking about some of the advantages and challenges of using audio in an educational setting. So that'll be a place to start. And then from there, you will need Audacity on your computer. And the link is here in our Moodle lesson. If you don't have it already, it is free. It's available for PC or for Mac. So everybody should be able to grab a copy of it regardless of what particular hardware you are using. So download that if you don't have it already. And then the main work this week is going to be to work your way through this Moodle lesson about audio production. As I'm trying to do with a number of these weeks in our work here in the class, is not only will you be going through this lesson to learn about audio, but it will also be an introduction to the lesson activity in Moodle. Last week we used the database uh, activity. We've looked at the page activity. We've looked at the glossary activity and the form activities. I'm trying as much as possible to give a sort of a practical experience with many of the activities that Moodle has. And that way, when you're working on your own Moodles, if there's any of these activities that you think would be useful for you, you'll have had a bit of an experience with them to see sort of how they work. So this is a lesson activity. Essentially, a lesson activity is a whole series of pages that you can design the navigation through. So there can be branching. You can give students options to go back and look at something again, or to watch a video of something, or to read instructions for something. It's really, you can organize the instruction however you want to. So this particular lesson is going to walk through a whole series of activities related to using Audacity and recording audio. So basically, you just work your way through step by step, and at each step along the way, it will give you instructions for what you're supposed to do. In many cases, you can watch a video that supports the text instructions, so you can actually see the things that are being done here being done in Audacity. And you also can then sort of, when you're ready to move on, you move on to the next step and so on until you get to the end of the lesson, and it will tell you that you've reached that point. The bottom line with this is that you'll be creating 2 audio recordings in Audacity. One of them is going to be without any sort of prior knowledge or any special accommodations or anything like that. You're just going to make a recording and save that. And then the other one is going to be the result of going through some of these tips and tricks in the lesson. So in the end, you'll have 2 audio recordings that are both based off of the same initial recording, one of them will be just a raw recording, and the other one will be one that has been manipulated in some ways. And you will be then posting both of those recordings to a forum for some reflection. So that lesson is the main activity for the week. As I said, when you're done, you will have 2 audio recordings. Those are going to get posted to this production forum. So you're able to just upload the files directly to your topic, and just asking. I've got a couple of questions here, just in terms of sort of reflecting on your process and how things went. It is not required for this particular one because this is a production forum. It's not required to come and provide feedback. But if you happen to see something or hear something and you would like to, you certainly may. But that is not required for this particular forum. This is more of a posting forum than it is a discussion forum for this. So that will then conclude the audio work for the week. There is a true discussion forum for this week as we're heading towards the, believe it or not, 2-year anniversary, I guess, of COVID sort of impacting our educational worlds. Just wanted to get a chance to kind of look backwards a bit and collect some thoughts about your experiences over the past couple of years as a student, as a teacher, as a professional, and how this has impacted things, and also looking forward. I hate to even say things like this because we know what's happened in the past, but there does seem to be some thoughts right now that things are sort of on the horizon to getting back to normal. So maybe some thoughts about what that returning to normal is going to look like, and whether we should be returning to the old normal or whether we should be looking to make changes as we move into the future. So this will be a discussion forum. So formulate your thoughts and create your post, and then get those conversations going with the other students in the class as people post their thoughts. Beyond that, the only other thing is just continuing to work on phase 2 of your technology plan. At this point, it looks like just about everybody has gotten phase 1 in. Over the course of this week, I will be taking a look at those and providing some feedback through the Moodle assignment, and just giving some initial thoughts, as particularly as you start picking your topics for your technology plans, just to make sure that everybody is on track and knows where they're headed. So that basically is our overview for this week. It's really all focused on audio, continuing the work on the technology plans as well. That's still the phase 2 is not due until week 8, which is still another couple of weeks away. So feel free to use this week and kind of work your way through the audio piece of things. Get caught up on anything that is hanging over from previous weeks. Next week will be the second of our roundtable discussions. I will be back on campus and leading the discussion from there, and we'll be posting the topics for discussion at some point over the next week, and I'll send out a reminder about that when that happens. So that is our overview. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns, and I look forward to seeing most of you in a week at our next roundtable. Enjoy your week.